Hi, good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about some of the conspiracies that I continuously hear as a medical doctor from pretty much every single person that would have come into contact with healthcare systems in whichever country they live in. And it seems to be a recurring decimal in every country where people actually believe these things. So we're going to have a discussion, and I'm going to point out whether it's true or not. First, the first conspiracy theory that I keep continuously hearing about all the time is that medical doctors prescribe medications because we get kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. Now, I can only speak for the Caribbean because I've worked and lived here all my life. And I can tell you straight off, that's not true. We prescribe medications based on their efficacy, their ability to work when it comes to a particular disease. So, for instance, a drug or pharmaceutical representative would come to our office and say to us, well, hi, good evening, Dan. Would say to us that this medication works better than all of its competitors. And as a result of that, we advise you to use this medication because it has far less side effects and it will help to lower blood pressure more effectively. We as a clinician then say, well, okay, if you say, hi Cheryl, if you say that the medication works better than XYZ, which is the competitors, then we will prescribe the medication in the hopes that it benefits our clients. Now, most doctors don't own pharmacies. So therefore, when we prescribe the medication, we're not getting any kickback not even from the pharmacy. We prescribe it because the pharmaceutical representatives would come with information stating that XYZ works better than ABC. So it's pretty much like if you have a car and the person comes and says to us, if you drive this car, it's safer than XYZ. Say, for instance, the Bentley is safer than the BMW, the person will then say, well, let me drive the Bentley. And that's exactly how drug reps come to us. They tell us, well, this medication works better, has fewer side effects, and will help to lower pressure or kill bacteria or control sugar far better than the competitors. And that's when we say, okay, you know what? I'm going to prescribe it and see how it works. So we don't actually actively get anything from prescribing certain medications. We prescribe based on our client. Sometimes we have to take into account the client might say, Doc, don't prescribe anything too expensive. I'm unable to afford it. So we might have to prescribe generic versions of the same drug. So that's one myth that just doesn't make sense. We don't get kickbacks. Very seldom. I mean, there are doctors that work with pharmaceutical companies to develop drugs and to determine if the medication is efficacious or it works. But for the most part, especially like amongst clinicians, that's not something that really happens in the Caribbean. Now, in America and Canada and those other countries, I don't know, but I can speak for the Caribbean. Yeah, that does not happen. Also, another thing that we hear all the time is, we want you to be sick to come to accidental emergency or to come to our office. Whether you're sick or well, you still have to visit the doctor. So that doesn't make sense because you still should go to the doctor every 6 months to ensure that you are okay. So why would we have to actively make you sick when you already should be getting checked up? Even when you're healthy, you're supposed to go to the doctor. So yeah, that's something that I never quite understand. In terms of wanting you to be sick to come to accidental emergency, think about it for a second. We are not paid per patient in accidental emergency at a public hospital. We are paid per hour. So if 2 patients come in and we're there for 12 hours and we see 2 patients and that's all we see for the night, we still get our check. So think about it for a second. Why would we want you to be sick when we could potentially get the same amount of money? If 100 versus 2 patients come in, we're still going to get the same salary. That doesn't make sense. We don't want you to be sick. We want you to be well. When we go to accident emergency or emergency room, the only thing we want to see coming in through the door is people that did everything that they possibly could to not have to be there, but still ended up there. Meaning a person who was in a motor vehicle accident. Unfortunately, gunshot wounds do happen. People who take their medication and for whatever reason the medication did not work and they still end up there. We don't want to see a person who comes to the accident emergency room and says to us, Doc, we can't bother to take the medication for 3 months. And then you come there to basically take up the time of people who actually should be there. And you take time away from them because you were negligent. At what point in your health does the responsibility actually lie on the citizen of a particular country? At what point? Hi, Martin. Hi, Cheryl. Yeah. At what point does the responsibility lie on the citizens? Why is an accident emergency backed up? Why is it that when you go to any hospital, especially the public hospitals, in accident emergency, there's so many persons there, 60% of which are non-communicable diseases? Why is that? Why are there more people walking around with uncontrolled sugar and uncontrolled pressure than there are people with controlled sugar and controlled pressure in terms of when you stratify based on age? 1 in 3 Jamaicans have high blood pressure. 1 in 3. And yes, if you count in people, for instance, kids, and you count in, young adults, their pressure would be controlled. But I'm talking about, say if we take a pie chart and we took those who have hypertension and we took those who have diabetes, when you compare those in those different populations, when you compare those who have control pressure to those who don't have control pressure, you'll be very surprised at the results. And a lot of it is because people just don't want to take their pills. Another thing that I have to ask, why is it people are more afraid of taking their medication than they are afraid of getting a heart attack and a stroke from not taking their medication? That's something that leaves me bewildered at times. I've been doing this coaching for better part of 9 months. So 8 months, from October last year, that's when I really started doing this seriously. And I can tell you, compared to the number of people that is on my page, the number of people from Jamaica that have signed up, very, very small. It's a very, very small number. Most of the people that have signed up are people from abroad. So is it that we don't take our healthcare seriously, and then we will turn around and complain that the government is not doing enough for our healthcare system? So again, when does it become our responsibility as citizens? When does it become our responsibility to take control of our overall health? Are we going to change? I'm not certain. I wish we would. It's the same thing in the United States when it comes to those in the African American population. We're the sickest. We have the most distrust, with reason, of course. And even now, with subsequent generations, we still have that distrust, despite the fact that there are more African American doctors, there are more minority doctors. Let's just make a change. We have to make a change. And we still eat unhealthy. We still have unhealthy habits. Here's a conspiracy that I think is true. And this is something that I blame on the governments. Governments will turn around and say, for instance, that the majority of the population is obese. Okay, I get it. We should do better. Then at the same time, give the green light to so many fast food chains. Recently, Krispy Kreme donuts opened in Jamaica. Can you tell me if we needed a donut place here in the country? So money or investments trumps the overall health of the population. That's a conspiracy that you should ask yourself if the governments really care about their citizens when it comes to letting in companies that bring unhealthy foods and products into the country. That's a question you should be asking, not whether or not doctors prescribe medications with the intention of getting kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. That doesn't even make sense. Ask the question, why is it that every corner, every major city, town, place in Jamaica, Kingston especially, why are there so many fast food restaurants? Sometimes there are like 4 in a row. They will have KFC, Burger King, Popeyes, and quite a few lined up one after the other. So the government is trying to get people to be active, but still fast food chains are opening more and more and more. So that is something that I've always wondered, like, couldn't the government say, well, in the long run, banning a particular fast food chain from entering the country, could it not potentially benefit the citizens more by banning that fast food chain and encouraging people and showing and leading by example that if we don't allow this company to enter into the country, then we could actually prevent people from eating this particular kind of food. And then they could use whatever investments they could to subsidize healthy foods for people. Isn't that something that we as citizens should ask? Why are there no subsidies on healthier foods? But fast food chains coming left, right, and center. These are conspiracy theories that you as citizens of a particular country, if you're not even from Jamaica, ask yourself why this goes on in every country. You can go to Africa, same thing. You can go to Haiti, same thing. You can go to Dominican Republic, same thing. Why is that? It brings in extra money, but then the citizens end up putting a strain on the already expensive healthcare system, and they end up having to spend more money. So you're bringing a fast food chain to generate income in the form of people getting jobs to work with these fast food restaurants. But then the people who work there are overweight and eat all of this unhealthy food. The people that go there will eat the unhealthy food. Sometimes it's every single day some people eat fast food. And then when you take a look at it in the long run, 20 years down the road, does it really benefit the country? Because you end up spending extra money on healthcare. Healthcare is one of the largest bills to fill in any country. Some countries, they actually measure, like for instance, in the United States, they spend a lot on healthcare, but they spend a lot on the military, but they spend a lot on healthcare. So does it really benefit the country to bring in all of these fast food chains, or could they actually find other means of helping the country? For instance, there's a comedian called Kevin Hart, right? He opened a vegan restaurant in the United States. I'm not saying veganism is the key to health. That's not what I'm saying, because I eat meat. But I'm saying, why not bring in a chain from a vegan restaurant? You can't find vegetarian food very often in Jamaica, and it's very expensive. If you want to be a vegetarian in Kingston, Jamaica, or in Jamaica on a whole, it's best to move the country, because the food itself is expensive. Vegan products are expensive. So why don't they help vegan companies come in and line the streets? They bring in fast food chains, cheap food. The food has in God knows what. And people buy it left, right. There are people who eat fast food every single day. So that's a conspiracy theory. Same thing in African American communities in America. There's a fast food chain in most African or depressed areas. There's a fast food chain. There's a liquor store, and there's a gun store, and a check cashing place. Is it a conspiracy theory that we should really say, well, this is messed up? And most of those stores are not owned by people of African descent. So, but the only people that we tend to come at is healthcare workers. Look at during the COVID pandemic. We were telling you the truth. And even now, people say that we were lying to you. It's killing people. Exactly, Lorna. It's killing people. So we're generating jobs, but killing off the citizens. So every year they increase the budget for healthcare. Most of the money for healthcare actually goes to paying the salaries of the people in the healthcare system. So when they increase the budget, they're hiring more people to deal with more sick people that they have created from bringing in more fast food and unhealthy foods. To make it make sense. I was reading an article from the CDC today, which showed that 4 unhealthy behaviors. One of them was smoking. One of them was consumption of alcohol. What was the other? Smoking, consumption of alcohol. The other one was obesity. I can't remember what the fourth one was. But if we look at alcohol consumption, alcohol companies run a large proportion of the economy we're talking throughout the Caribbean. Ray Nephew, quite a few of them. Mount Gay rum, Cockspur, quite a few different rums run the country. People drink rum left, right, and center. So why is there no campaign running to show that, you know, maybe we should cut back on alcohol, cut back on cigarette smoking, cut back on ganja smoking, cut back on any kind of smoking, vaping. I mean, these are conspiracy theories that we really should look at. Another conspiracy theory that I have noticed, for instance, on TikTok specifically, people quote Dr. Sebi as an authority on healthcare. Dr. Sebi has no medical training, none. I posted here about broccoli being a healthy food, and a person literally typed underneath. By the way, Dr. Sebi is not even a nutritionist, and someone posted underneath, Dr. Sebi says not to eat this. Dr. Sebi is not a healthcare professional at all. He's literally not a healthcare professional. So my question to you is, why trust people that just get up and say, you know, take this herb? People message me daily, ask me what can I do for them with particular herbs. And I tell them the truth, go and see your doctor. Like, I'm not a herbalist. I'm here to tell you to eat healthy. I'm here to tell you to exercise. I'm here to tell you to lose weight. And I'm here to tell you, if you have difficulty losing weight, that's where I come in. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to tell you, eat this herb and come off of your medication. If that's what you're here for, I am not that guy. Of course, cut back on the strong alcohol, definitely. I'm not the guy to tell you to come off of your medication and I'll heal you with pills and I'll heal you with herbs. No, that's not what I'm saying. I am saying that I can look for an article and find which ones are safe to use along with your medication, but I have stressed carefully and all the time that you must have a discussion with your doctor, one. And two, weight loss is the best thing you can do for your overall health. That's two. And three, increasing your muscle mass is the best thing you can do for your health as well too. Never once did I say that I'm curing anything. I saw recently another one. Like, there's so many things on TikTok that sometimes just blow my mind. I saw someone post that they can cure HIV and herpes and that they're not viruses. I'm like, and those posts have 500,000 likes. No. This is misinformation. During COVID, there was another article or another video that I saw where somebody said they turned the blow dryer up their nose and blew COVID out of their system. There was a pastor in the United States, I think it's something Copeland or something. He was blowing wind at the population to remove COVID. These are the people that people believe. But those that have gone to school for 5 years, 10, 15 years, they don't believe. I sometimes I feel like giving up and telling people like, yo, like, I don't understand. People message me daily asking me to like, what can I do for them? Google it. Google Copeland, I think his name is. He was blowing air on his congregation to remove COVID. He is blowing COVID away. These are the things that I see I be on TikTok on a day-to-day basis, just amazed at what people really are, you know, ingesting mentally daily. Science is science. There's a reason why it's called science. 2 + 2 is always going to be 4. We use data and research to justify doing certain things in medicine. There was a point in time in history where washing of hands was not a thing for medical procedures. Someone did a study and realized that those who wash their hands multiple times between procedures or just wash their hands on a whole, the outcomes or the infection rates on particular wards decreased. And that's how we learned. That's how we learn. We learn from observation, and we learn from testing, and we learn from placing in controlled environments. That's the only way you're going to learn. I just hope that we're going to change our behaviors, because if we don't, it's going to get worse. I saw someone recently, Rastafarian man on TikTok, and he had a concoction called dandelion and something else, and I said, okay. And he said this is going to cure diabetes. I saw another gentleman up, Caucasian dude, post on TikTok how he told someone who had type 1 diabetes that he has a cure for diabetes. If you have a cure and you have not mass produced that cure and cured people, then are you really a good person? These people would, and the thing is, because people are so desperate, they'll do whatever. That's not how it works. People have asked me if there's a cure for HIV. People have asked me if there's a cure for herpes. I will not lie to you. There's no cure just yet. People have been cured of HIV, but they had a bone marrow transplant, meaning all of their marrow was removed in a procedure, and it was success. The HIV virus was no longer detectable in their blood. So it was cured, but it's not feasible to do a bone marrow transplant or removal for every single HIV patient. It's just not. It can't be done so easily. Another thing that I see people doing, colon cleanses, and these are all conspiracy theories that I wish that people would ask more questions. Juice cleanses, water cleanses. Do you know how dangerous it is to push any kind of hypotonic, meaning water-based liquid, rectally, or even drinking large amounts? You can actually offset all the electrolytes in your body, and you can make yourself very sick if you do not control what you are ingesting carefully. So people doing juice cleanses, water cleanses, I would not advise you to do that. Your colon does not need to be cleansed. People have messaged me about colon cleanses. No, stay away from them. Stay away from them. Your colon cleanses itself. There's something called peristalsis, where food is moved from your esophagus down into your stomach. Then there's a sphincter at the bottom of your stomach which opens and lets food into your small intestine. From the small intestine, it goes into the large intestine. There's another valve that lets into the large intestine, and it moves along. If you really want to cleanse your colon, make sure you stay hydrated. Try some probiotics. Lots of fiber. As you saw in my video about fiber, 30 grams per day can reduce your risk of developing diverticular disease. It's significantly proven that a Western diet is a very, very high risk, puts a person at a high risk of developing diverticular disease. You don't want to develop it, and you don't have to. Lots of fiber in your diet. I've been posting about weight loss for weeks. There are 43,000 people on this page. Now, if you're overweight, you're supposed to be messaging me to find out what you can do to lose weight. There are people who message me and say, well, Doc, I've used your tips to help you lose weight. But if you are one person that belongs to this page and you end up in accident and emergency because your weight is too high and your sugar is too high and your pressure is too high, I hope you're not one of those people that would complain that the doctor's taking too long to see you. That's something that really annoys me. When people come to accident emergency because they refuse to take responsibility for their health. You have to take responsibility. Your weight is important. Eating correctly is important. I'm not saying you cannot eat fast food at all. Every now and again you think, yes, if I go out and there's nothing else wrong, I may eat fast food. But fast food cannot be your daily meal. It cannot be your daily food. Eating large amounts of carbohydrates, processed meals cannot be your daily food. It's just not acceptable. So if you are sick, you need to get checked. Here's another conspiracy theory that I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory. I think it happens, but not as often as people make it seem. Like, all right, so a person will come in, their blood pressure would be high. The doctor looks back and the blood pressure was high and makes the decision to start the person on high blood pressure medication. No. Here's the thing. If that's the first time you're meeting the doctor and the doctor states to you, I'm going to start your medication, the doctor is not necessarily right, because he's supposed to wait a week and recheck the blood pressure. That's the safe thing to do, because sometimes it can be high for many reasons. No. If you've been coming to the doctor for a year, 2 years, and each time you come, your pressure is high and the doctor decided to start you on medication, and you then turn around and get upset because doctor started you on medication, then hi Lynette, message me to start a plan. You need to start a plan if you're overweight. If you're unable to lose weight yourself, message me on my phone. My number is in my bio, and there's a lot of plans available for you. There's virtual consultations that we can do, and we can have, which will help you to lose weight. So what I've realized is that some doctors, their threshold for starting medication is very low, because they are afraid that if they send you home with that pressure, that something could happen and result in your pressure going even higher and a complication developing. You don't want that. We don't want that to happen. I have started medication on people who have come in with a pressure of like 180 on 120. I'm not sending you home with that pressure. That's not just a one-off reading. Your pressure has been high for a long time, and that is the reason why I started on medication. Now, if you come in with a 140 on 90, 138 on 90, I may send you home to return in a week to have your pressure checked. That's a very different thing. But if you come in with a 180 on 120, you are not leaving the office without blood pressure medication, because that's not going to weigh on my conscience. If you choose to take them, that's on you. If you choose not to take them, that's on you. But it's in your best interest to take the medication. And if you want to come off the medication, there's other things you can do. There's no herb that I can give you to make your pressure go low immediately. No. There's nothing. The best thing you can do, weight loss, increase your muscle mass, diet properly, exercise. Same thing I've been saying over and over and over and over and over and over again. So that's another conspiracy theory that I wanted to get out of the way. I've had an instance thing, another thing as well too. So, as you know, bleaching is it's a very, very what's the word? It's an epidemic, and it's not even a conspiracy, but it's something that I've noticed. Like, people who bleach will come to the office. They will have a rash, and the rash is as a result of the chronic bleaching. But we give them medication and it doesn't work. But then they get frustrated with us. You have been using a cream that you should not have been using to lighten your skin for whatever reason. And then you come in and you get vexed at us because the medication that we are prescribing, it's really hard to treat bleachers if we didn't know. The rashes that they come with are sometimes so out there that when you really try to treat it, it's so difficult, you just end up sending them to a dermatologist. If they get cut, it's very difficult as well to heal the wound. To suture the wound, especially, sometimes the skin is like paper thin, so it doesn't even suture and oppose. So if you have a wound like this, so you never had blood pressure, but occasionally blood pressure 140 on 90. If you have a 140 on 90, 139 on 89, anything above that, your pressure is high. You need to be evaluated. One, we need to check your pressure. And sometimes, depending if a person is responsible, we may offer them or tell them that they can adjust their lifestyle, which is something that people do. I've had an instance where, more than once, where a person is... We drink a lot of coffee in the Caribbean, probably just as much or near to the amount that Americans drink. And we drink a lot of coffee. People drink coffee daily. Coffee has a transient effect on blood pressure. It can raise your pressure to the point where it's really high. No, I'm not vexed. So what happens is that the coffee, people who drink coffee and Pepsi regularly, there are people who drink Pepsi from the time their eyes open, they're drinking Pepsi. Don't know how they do it. Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they drink it every morning. Arizona, Red Bull, Monster, you name it, they drink that every single day. And it can cause your pressure to spike. There have been people who have come with their pressure at 140 on 90, and I've said to them, what do you drink? And they'll tell me what they do. And when I tell them to come off of the medication, come off of what they take or what they drink daily, they get a headache for a couple of days, because when you come off of drinking coffee for years, you're going to get a headache. And a couple of days, their head hurts a little bit. And then after a while, their pressure just goes back down to normal, plummets. So there are times when people have high blood pressure and there's an actual reason. But then there are times when people come to the doctor's office with a pressure of 200 on 100. and then they'll say to me, Doc, it's because I'm stressed. No, that's not just because you're stressed. That's because you have hypertension. I agree, Esther. Hi, Fifi. So we need to make some changes. Stop messaging to ask me, what can you do for your weight? You know what to do for your weight. If you don't know how to do it for your weight, you need to message me to ask me how to start a plan. People message me to ask me, what can they do for their weight? I cannot do the exercise for you. You have to do the exercise. If you don't know how to exercise, then I can help you. Yes, I do. My TikTok is Dr.Sisnett, MD. People message me daily. I wake up to text messages asking me some of the craziest things. Doc, like people message me and ask me, Doc, they will have some gynecological problem. What can I do? See your doctor. That's what you need to do. See your doctor. That's what you need to do. What am I going to do for you in Jamaica if you live in another place? I cannot stay here and telepathically remove fibroids from you or telepathically cure your disease. The only thing I can help you with from here is weight loss, which is going to help your overall health. Right now, somebody just messaged me asking me about something that I have never advertised for. I advertise one thing: weight loss. People are messaging me asking me to cure a whole host of other things that I have no clue. Your mom has high blood pressure. If she wants to lose weight, I can help her with that. We have virtual consultations where we meet half an hour every week, and then she also gets a meal plan and workout plan. And we have this discussion every Friday or Saturday with the hopes of her following the plans and losing weight. So these plans are available for everybody. What I've noticed is that most of my audience is from the United States. So that's the reason why virtual consultations are perfect for people who live in the States and want to have their health optimized. If you live in the States and want to have your health optimized, these are the plans for you. Virtual consultations, diet plans, exercise plans. I mean, you get all the support you need. We can go through all the medication, find out which ones, as your weight comes down and as your pressure comes down, what we can do. Most of these plans, you have to be under 55 because, for the simple reason, if you're over that and you're overweight, there's a very, very good chance that you are going to need physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and basically just overall, you're going to need some other support systems that I cannot provide long distance. So most of these plans, you have to be under 55 years old. I would need more information, Shania. I need to know how tall she is. I need to know her age, all those things. So guys, I'm thankful that you've logged on. Please like and share. If you want to lose weight, now is the time. You just WhatsApp message me, 876-339-3487. It's hard to lose weight around your tummy because that's where most of the fat is. It's visceral fat. Women have most of their fat around their tummy and their hips. And they have like back fat where the love handles are located. That's also where they have a lot of their fat. So for women, the distribution of fat is very different. So it's going to be hard to lose that fat. You have to lose fat overall for you to lose weight in those areas. It's not going to just... You can't just do an exercise and target that area, which is something that a lot of trainers try to propose. No, fat has to be lost overall. You have to go into a calorie deficit to lose weight overall for you to lose weight on your tummy. That's how it works. And in some instances, people lose weight on their tummy, but there's so much skin that they end up having to get surgery to fix it. Hi, good night, Karen. Any more questions? Okay, so if you want to lose weight, 876-339-3487 and sign up for our plan. Again, do not message and ask me what can you take to lose weight. That's not how it works. Hi, Sharon. You need to take your daughter to a doctor ASAP. A neurologist, preferably. That neurologist would be able to find out what works for her, prescribe medications, titrate what needs to be titrated, and work out what triggers her issues. Neurologist, 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 neurologist. She needs to go to. I'm serious, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. I help people lose weight. That's what I do. Any other questions? Message, Marcia. Message for a consultation. I get too many calls and I can't answer all the calls. It's only me. So message me and let's find out what works for you. So WhatsApp message me. I'm getting calls at 4 a.m. I'm like, what? Message me. WhatsApp message. The number is in my bio at the top of the page. 876-339-3487. Just message. I'll ask you some details about what's going on with you. I'll ask you some information, some biometric information, which you'll get for information with regards to your height, weight, age, medical conditions. If you have any injuries, those are the things that I want to know. And we will be able to work out from there what works best for you. Hi, Marcia. What do you mean, gotta? 876-339-3487. So message, okay? WhatsApp message. Hi, Felicity. Thanks. You're the first person I've ever seen from Bermuda. Thanks for joining. Any other questions? Health can be stressful. That is true. Which is why if we prevent ourselves from getting to that point, we can save ourselves a lot of stress. Or we can reduce our risk of having issues. Because there's nothing that's 100% certain, right? But there's stuff that we can do to reduce the risk. I'll give you another example before I go. So I know someone. Hi, welcome from the Philippines, baby Nakarda. I know someone who has a strong family history of diabetes. Like, aunts have diabetes. Their uncle had pre-diabetes. Their sister had diabetes. Like, diabetes just ran throughout the family. That person was so meticulous about their overall health that they almost worried themselves sick trying to prevent themselves from developing diabetes. Went to a doctor one day and the doctor said to them, you're at the right weight. Relax a little bit because your stress is not going to help your overall health. The person made sure that they did not develop diabetes and they were successful. They are now in their 70s, diabetes free. The only thing they have is hypertension. Their kids are diabetes free. And they're the only one of she's the only one of the set of 3 kids that does not have any long-term or what I say debilitating chronic illnesses. And that's because they recognize their risk. They did everything they could to reduce their risk, stayed away from sweets, and they made sure that they didn't develop it. Yes, that is true. Stress makes you gain weight because people stress eat as well too. So know your risk, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining. If you want to lose weight and you want to join my plans, again, do not message and say what you can do for me. I already explained to you the plans. There are meal plans, workout plans, virtual consultations, there's Zoom training, all those things. You make up in your mind what you need help with, and message me, and let's work on what we need to do to get you to your goal. That's the goal, to get you to the goal of weight loss. All the best, ladies and gentlemen.